Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. If you've ever fired up a home workout, you already know the drill, right? An instructor, a timer, and, well, a whole lot of sweat. But have you ever actually stopped to look at the underlying architecture of these routines? Because today, we're deconstructing a literal masterclass in workout structuring from Roberta's gym, specifically their 14 days weight loss challenge. Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to decode the raw transcript of this workout, which on the surface is just this continuous stream of numbers and commands, to reveal the brilliant, kind of invisible engineering that pushes the human body to its absolute limits. To really get a handle on how this routine works, we've mapped it out into 5 distinct physical phases: anatomy of the warm-up, the standing cardio spikes, transitioning to the mat, the second wind, and finally, the grand finale. So what's really interesting here is the core rhythmic loop driving the entire program. If you look closely at the data, it's definitely not just a random list. It's this highly disciplined cycle. Step 1, you get a strict 5-second countdown. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Then, step 2 is the actual exercise execution, driven by really precise rep counting. And finally, step 3, it's that simple, beautiful phrase, rest time. That rest time acts as this desperately awaited oasis between those intense rep counts. It completely resets your psychology, creating this super reliable rhythm of tension and release. Right, so let's see how this actually builds our foundation. With phase 1, anatomy of the warm-up. Before the real work even begins, the routine establishes a super steady, controlled baseline. Just notice the pattern here. High knee jacks, exactly 12 reps. Side bends, exactly 12 reps. Back turns, you guessed it, 12 reps. This absolutely isn't an accident. This uniform block of 12-count mobility movements prepares your joints and physically signals to your nervous system that, hey, the body is waking up. It's deliberate, it's paced, and it's entirely focused on getting the machinery oiled up before the intensity spikes. And trust me, it is definitely about to spike. Because right after the instructor says, let's begin the workout, we jump right into phase 2, the standing cardio spikes. The volume escalates dramatically here. We immediately jump from our 12-rep warm-up up to 20 reps of step-back jacks. Then, boom, 30 reps of jump-in jacks. We hit 20 lateral arm circles, drop just briefly to 12 for the heavier squat and kick, and then right back up to 20 for the lateral step reach. The crucial takeaway here is that this routine is systematically pushing your heart rate right into that metabolic conditioning zone, and it's using these high-rep cardio bursts to do it. The rest times, they're still there, but the work-to-rest ratio is now heavily tipping toward pure exertion. And then we hit the peak. 40 reps, 40 rapid-fire counts of running in place. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right on up to 40. It's this massive, grueling peak in the workout's intensity curve, literally a shock to the system. It's an absolute lung burner designed to maximize your caloric output just minutes into the routine. At this point, you're breathless, your heart is pounding out of your chest, and you are desperately waiting for those 2 magic words, rest time. After that massive cardio high, the routine intelligently shifts gears into phase 3, transitioning to the mat. And this brilliantly illustrates the full body balance of the entire program. When we map out the exercises, we see this perfectly calculated split. Exactly half the routine demands high-energy standing movements, and the other half leverages gravity on the mat for targeted core and strength work. It's a genius dual structure because it prevents localized muscle fatigue and keeps you engaged without just burning out your legs entirely. Let's actually look at the mat sequence itself, because the rules completely change down here. We transition from a plank jack straight into a 15-count static plank hold, which is actually the first isometric hold of the entire workout. Then we go into swing backs, tricep dips, and leg drops. But look closely at those knee push-ups. 8 reps, just 8. After doing 40 counts of running in place, an 8-count push-up highlights a massive shift in physical demand. The workout has pivoted away from cardiovascular endurance directly into focused muscular strength and tension. But right in the middle of this grueling mat work, specifically during the meetup crunches, something totally unique happens in the transcript. The standard clinical counting just stops, and the instructor suddenly says, bring the beat back, 13, 14. It's a completely singular motivational anomaly. Up until now, it's just been pure numbers and commands. But this sudden burst of musicality and energy, it's injected at the exact second your core is screaming, giving you the precise psychological push you need to finish the floor sequence. Which perfectly sets up phase 4, the second wind. To force this second wind, the programmer uses a fascinating architectural trick, the bookend burpee. Check out this comparison. The very first exercise right after the warm-up was a 12-rep set of slow burpees. Now, immediately after finishing that exhausting floor work, what do we see? Another 12-rep set of slow burpees. This full-body movement forces you off the mat, violently elevating your heart rate again after a period of lower-intensity static holds. It's brutal for sure, but it's a perfectly placed wake-up call that signals the end is near.
And that brings us to phase 5, the grand finale.
So there is absolutely no slowing down now. The volume just goes through the roof. 30 jumping jacks right out of the gate. Then immediately back to that grueling 40-count run in place. 25 mountain climbers driving those knees to the chest, and finally 20 ski hops to top the whole thing off. It's a relentless, rapid-fire sequence of high-volume movements. The routine is literally throwing everything it has left at you, demanding absolute maximum effort to drain whatever tiny bit of energy remains in the tank.
And then, finally, the timer stops. The counting ceases, and you are rewarded with this. You have successfully completed the workout. Good job. Oh man, it feels incredibly earned. By analyzing all this data today, we've seen that a workout isn't just some random list of exercises. It's a highly calculated journey of spikes, recoveries, strategic bookends, and psychological pushes. So I'm going to leave you with this. Next time you're sweating through a routine, just completely struggling for breath, ask yourself, what invisible architecture is controlling your heart rate at this exact second? Because once you understand the design, you don't just survive the challenge, you master it. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today. I'll catch you next time.